Good evening, folks. We are back after today's earlier debacle with enums. We've had a bit of a break. I don't think I fixed anything or tidied anything up, so you're basically not missing anything. So, let's open this up and have a look, shall we? So what we'll do in the short term is we'll have a look around. We've got some miners there. So we should actually be able to build a smelter pretty soon. This brings a bit more challenge to proceedings now, that we actually need to build stuff. The thing I want to do with this video feed is to basically make it like expand out and then contract in. So we might actually make it from either the top left and expand or the bottom left. We'll have a look. We'll try different things and see how it goes, shall we? So we have a bauxite. Now it's not ideal. I don't know how this is going to play out here. We might get away with this. That's not going to work. Right, so what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to restart that. We're going to have to build our thing, and we're going to have to build it like this, and then basically have it coming down. So that it doesn't interfere with any of the other inputs on that one. Now, if this is copper, that would be fantastic, which it is. Now, we do want to open up our controller to find out what we've got. We do know this is working, so that's all well and good. We've got our array there. We can build another conveyor belt. Close that just now, spin it around. And what we shall do is build it out from here. And that's going to go in there. So we should be able to quite quickly be able to build a refinery. So we'll have a look at that. It's going to be, we're going to need 10 to make the miner. Why is the bauxite stopped? It does not like that bauxite one little bit, for some unknown reason. I need to put a plane or something, because this mesh is just a pain in the bum. I mean, it's quite handy that we're not doing a heck of a lot with collisions at the moment. Okay, so that's back up running. So hopefully this will give us some bauxite again. And there we go. So that's done. It's given us a refinery. Now what is in here is bauxite, which is kind of ideal. So what we'll do is we shall build that, and we can in fact, yeah, that'll do. So what we'll do now is we'll get our bauxite, and we shall basically run it around here to here, and then we shall get the output of this we shall route to here, and that should give us a third. And here comes the first one. And this is very nice indeed. So we should now get a third item coming up in here. And there we go. We've got bauxite, iron ore, and now what we should be able to do is, if there's anything up here, another bauxite would be lovely. Oh, that'll do. Right. So we should be able to build, I think we need one of these. This is the smelter. And yeah, we're going to make iron sheets, that's cool. Okay, but we actually need to spin this round. Once more. That should do us, okay? Now, what we can do here is we can add our conveyor belt. And then add another conveyor belt, which is going to go in here basically. Oh, I can actually bring it out here. And there we go. And this is in fact doing absolutely nothing. Iron sheet needs bauxite. Well, that's not right. That's not right at all. But you can see from here we're making plenty of stuff and it's all getting recorded. So we need to check up on our recipes. Oh, we have an issue there. Okay, so we had a spline issue. We'll dismiss that for now. Now, we're going to check our recipes anyway, because at the end of the day, we need to know if they're set up properly, which they should be. Right, so copper, iron sheet, iron ore. So that's not right. That's not right at all. Input bauxite. So we've lost a right, so this should be copper sheet. Okay, so we'll update that to copper sheet. And it's not bauxite, it's copper ore. Okay, and we shall check, and it does output the copper sheet. So we have iron sheet. So it would appear to me that there's one missing here. Iron ore. So we've not got iron sheet. So we need to add one. It's going to be iron sheet. So it's iron sheet. Make process time 2. The input is iron ore, and this is wrong. So right, okay, so we'll change this. This should be bauxite. And the output is iron ore, which is right. Now for the iron sheet, the input should be iron ore. And let's say we need one. And the output is going to be iron sheet. And the output is going to be 1. And it's going to be made in a smelter. So we can save that. Okay. Now this isn't right either, this copper ore thing. Copper rich ore. So I don't actually, don't think these should actually be in it, the ores, right? Because the ores aren't actually made anywhere. We'll leave it in anyway. Copper rich ore. No, that shouldn't be made anywhere. So we'll just call that a miner. And the iron, see, we've not got bauxite there, which is correct. We shouldn't have copper rich ore. We should just have copper sheet. Right, so we actually don't want this. We don't want this here. But we'll leave it for now. We'll leave it for now, right? So we'll pull this down out of the way. And we shall actually see if this is working properly. So what we'll do, oh, we can't. Okay, so we actually need to do some building before we can do this. Right, so this one's on its way, so we're going to get something here. What that something may be, we don't know yet, but what we shall do is we'll check in a minute. Let's see up here what we've got. Got one there, got one there, and we've already got one there. Let's see what this is. So that's copper rich ore, which is good. And this one is copper rich ore. Okay, whatever. Right, so what we'll do here is we shall build this. And we shall plug it right in here. That's going to get us started. Right. So once we're started, we're in business, but we need some not, well actually, you know what? You know what we could do? We could try this out. So what we could do is we could build our splitter, right? Now you can see our ray tracing lines there. Oh, that's turned things way slow. Right, so we've got an issue with our splitter there that's turning everything way slow. Well, it's speeded up now, but there's something going on there. So we shall basically set this up. And we shall build, well, we ain't going to build nothing at the moment until we get our bauxite. So are we going to get some bauxite is the question. Up from there we're not. Okay, so what we got down here? More copper. Lots of copper. More copper. And even more copper. Can we have a miner please that isn't copper? Would that be too much to ask here? So let's have a look to see if we've got... We unfortunately might have to start this again because we're just not having any luck with the copper. Sorry, bauxite. We just can't get any bauxite whatsoever. Here is another miner, and it's copper as well. Now, what's the chances of that? Eight coppers in a row, and there's another one. Right, I think this is trying to tell us something. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop it for now. We're getting more spline problems with the splitter. So we're going to have to check on that one. So we're going to forget the spliner for the moment, or sort of the splitter. And we shall just try and get this working right. I think later tonight what I'll do once the stream stops is I'll fix up some of this. Like, this is annoying me where it doesn't stay. Basically the on hover is over the mesh, and the mesh is basically lots of little holes. So as you can see, it's actually not ideal for what I'm doing there, you know. So I need to stick like a plane underneath it or something that's going to work all the time and not be a pain in the neck, basically. Right. But I'm going to say that that's not really a job for right now. Right, so we've got our copper rich, okay? So let's just plug the darn thing in. Actually, that might be becoming more important because we're wasting a lot of time flapping around with that. Now, for anybody that hasn't seen the stream during the day, as you can see, we've got lovely conveyor belts there. We have lovely conveyor belts. Now, have we got any more miners though? When we need bauxite, and we have no other minerals. This one's not been excavated yet, so we can kind of forget that one for the moment. Right, have we got anything up here? Not a lot. Our scurrying little guys don't seem to be scurrying in the correct directions, which is a bit of a pain. And our minerals aren't really falling for us either, to be honest. Got a few round about here. Now there's the first one. Now, have we got any up above here, or are they all round about the base? It appears they're all round about the base. So, I mean, that isn't a big issue per se. We have a miner here. As long as we get the 2 miners we need, we're okay. So we've got our bauxite. So let's plug that in. Right. Now we've got another miner here. Hopefully this is a copper. Now it looked like it was definitely splitter that was causing us an issue, okay, so that's bauxite as well, right, which is the usual. We aren't going to be able to build in until we get some copper, okay, that's just the way it is. And we don't seem to be having much luck again. Ah, here's a miner. There we go, copper. Right, we're in business. Okay, so let's get our thing down. And let's hope that is good enough. We might need to switch on the opto grid for this, to be honest, so that you can line up your grid better. But what we need to do in the meantime is check this. We have got our 2 members, which is good. Okay, so we can move over here again. We know this is a bauxite, right? So once we can build our ore refiner, okay, so now what we can do is we can basically we should actually get them to light up in the first place. We can get this, and we're not allowing iron ore. So our menus are kind of screwed. Ah, this should be in a refiner, not in a smelter. Duh. No, that should be in a refiner. And the iron sheet should be in a smelter. Right? I think this is all the remnants of our enum issue. Right? So now we should be able to build this here. And here comes the stuff. So this should be giving us iron ore. So we've got bauxite, we've got copper rich ore, and in a moment we should have some iron ore. Once that gets loaded in there, and there's our iron ore. Okay. So we can actually kind of continue here if we have any more mines round about town. Which apparently we do not. Got one here. Now whether we can use it or not, I don't know. So this is a copper rich ore, right? So we can try this. So this is going to go into a smelter. Okay. And our connection should be here. So what we'll do is we shall connect this. And we shall see if this actually goes through. It's a bit silly, I know, it's a bit silly, we know, but it's just for testing purposes, okay? So give me a little break on this one. Okay, now for this, we're going to have to switch this to iron sheet. And the iron sheet says we need bauxite, which is completely wrong. Copper sheet is complete and utter garbage. Yeah, so it looks like our earlier problem with the, what do you call it, the enum is completely screwed with our enums. It looks like everything has been screwed up with our enum earlier. Because we should be seeing, this is a smelter, okay? So the only ones we should be seeing is copper sheet, which says copper ore, and we have iron sheet, which is iron ore, okay? So there's no reason why this, when I click on it and I click on copper sheet, that this says bauxite, okay? And this says copper rich ore. So for some reason this has become corrupted, which is not a very good signal, to be honest. So that is very annoying. That is very annoying indeed. So we're going to have to stop this. And we're going to have to redo some of these, or something. So we shall build this up slowly again. This will give you an actually good idea of how to do this, right? So what we'll do is we're going to delete that and delete that and delete that, delete, 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 delete. Okay, so we're going to add, and our product out is going to be iron ore, right? And let's see if we've got iron ore. Yeah, we have. Right, so that goes in there. Let's say our process time is going to be 1 second. Our input is going to be bauxite. Our input required is going to be, let's say, 1. Our output is obviously going to be iron ore. Our output produced is going to be, let's say, 1. And where it's made is going to be in a refiner. So fundamentally what we can do is the only thing that we should be able to actually build is iron ore, or the only thing we should be able to make is iron ore, okay? So all we need is our copper again and our bauxite again, so that it unlocks those two things. Now we should be in good shape here, as long as they get found, and these two here, as long as these get found. Now this is why you should do thorough testing, because what I was actually going to test was our trading with the resupply rocket, which now we can't test because basically we found out that it wasn't working properly. And that was because earlier our enum screwed up for products, and I couldn't bring bauxite back, which was a major problem because that's the first thing you need. So we couldn't unlock building any buildings or test it because the bauxite enum was basically absolutely knackered and was bringing basically nothing back. So one problem has led to another, so we now know we've got a problem with the splitter as well, even though it seems to be working. It has got an issue, so we'll need to check that out at some point as well. And this is the sort of flickering on this is becoming an issue because it's just plain annoying. Okay, so we're going to sort that out, but as I mentioned earlier, we're going to do that off stream. And we really need to show a grid here to show the player where he needs to actually put the grid, or put the conveyors anyway. So we've got bauxite, okay, so the next thing we need is copper. So let's see if any of these have been found up here. We do have a miner here, and we've got our copper, so that's going to allow us to open those buildings to be able to build them, which is obviously a plus. And the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to get a basic smelter, and we're going to see what we can make in it. And we should only be able to make iron ore, okay? So we'll gradually build up back to where we were. We're going to keep it to a minimum, because if we have another enum screw up, then that would be really bad. Okay, so if we click on our controller, you can see what is in our proxy inventory. So we've got 2 and 3. Is that? No, it's 66 and 26. So you'll gradually see these disappear. This was 30 and this one's 40. So once this gets to 40, then this one will disappear and we can make that. There we go. So that's working as I expected. Okay, that was the way it was supposed to work. Now, oh, that's becoming annoying, really annoying. Right, so this is bauxite. So this is exactly what we wanted. Okay. And we can now put a conveyor into here. Hey Jess player. Jess plays FS. How you doing, mate? Nice of someone to speak to me. Doesn't happen very often. So we are building that there. And then we're going to select, and the only one we can select is iron ore, so that's automatically selected. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted, right? That's what we wanted, and that's what we got. So as you could see, if you've been watching earlier, you will see that we had a problem with the enums and setting up products again. So you can see now this is doing the iron ore thing. And we should pop up with a third. Okay, now what I want to do after this is I hope to get one of these up, and then we can check we have something here. What we got? What we got? Got copper rich ore. Okay, but remember we can't make anything because basically I told it that we couldn't make anything, right? So so we need to add Jess, you've just got to take your time. Simple as that. You've just got to take your time. If you're following tutorials, treat them as tutorials. Don't treat them like you're going to put them in your game. Right? My advice is this. If you do a tutorial and you don't know how to fix it, then it wasn't a tutorial, because it didn't teach you how to do what it was trying to teach you how to do it. Now, that might not be the fault of the tutorial, or it might not show you how to do things, right? But, as I said, don't treat tutorials just to plug and play. They should be teaching you how to build it again from scratch. You know, it's like doing math. You don't get the answer to 2 plus 2 is 4, and then you just remember that 2 and 2 plus is 4. You've got to work out, you've got to know how it works, right? Well, if you check the description, my Discord's in there, and there's a few, basically I just started it today, funnily enough, or at least I moved it over to Unreal today, and I've already got a couple of people that might help you in there, as well as myself. And yes, I do help people, so there's every chance I might teach you one or two things that you'll need to learn. So in this case, we're setting up our Yeah, as I said, it's the same with assets. People treat assets like they'll always just be plug and play, and they never are, because you always want them to do something slightly different. And as soon as that happens, you need to know how the asset works. And depending on how complex the asset is and your experience, well, it's going to get pretty difficult pretty quick if you're a newcomer. You're going to be no problem. As I said, Discord's just started, so um, I wouldn't expect too much too quick. But as I said, there is people there who will help you. So we're going to create our iron sheet, or recreate it anyway. So we go iron sheet, and that's the texture we're going to use, and the input is going to be iron ore, and we're going to require one, let's say. We'll just keep it simple for now. Then the output is going to be iron sheet, and again the output's going to be 1, and finally it's going to be made in a smelter. Okay, so, and we need a process time, so the process time is going to be 1. Keep it fast. And the next thing we'll do is we shall do copper sheet. Ah, right, okay. You've got to do it through an animation blueprint. You've got to do footsteps through an animation blueprint and then link them up to the animations. Okay? Now, if you don't know about animation blueprints, you've got a bit of a way ahead of you. But it's not impossible. But I'm not going to kid you on and say it's straightforward and easy, because that would be not true. But as I said, it's setting up an animation blueprint. So we're making copper sheets, and our input, well, we need a processing time, so the processing time is 1. Then we're going to have an input which is going to be of copper rich ore, and the output's going to be 1, and it's made in a smelter, so we shall save that. And that looks, oh, that's not set, we need a time there which is going to be 1. Save that. Bear with me a second, guys. Okay, right, so what we're going to do is we're going to test this now. I'm just about at the point now where I'm going to actually add a default amount to our inventory, so that we don't need to join these all up to build a smelter or whatever. We can just get on with it. No, I'm talking about an actual animation blueprint. There's blueprints and there's animation blueprints. They're two different things. And then you need to learn about having character movement. But they're all interlinked, and as I said, if you're starting out, it isn't easy, but it's not insurmountable. So anyway, what we'll do is we're waiting on a miner here. Do we have a miner? We do. And it's making copper rich ore. So we're gonna have to plug Minecraft. No. Now, I wouldn't complain if it made as much money as Minecraft. That would be interesting, to say the least. I think I would probably end up in a gutter somewhere, but there we go, join that up. It's actually more like Factorio Satisfactory and Surviving Mars and a bit of RimWorld. It's kind of taking ideas from all of those different places. I'll be free at probably about an hour or not. I normally stream for about 2 hours during the day, and then I'm just trying this out tonight to see if it was more popular or less popular, or just to get an idea of, you know, when it's best to stream. So I'll be free in about an hour or so. So we're looking for another mineral. If you also want to have a look, guys, if you look at the description, you can see I've already got a game on Steam. You can check that out, have a look, put it on your wish list, doesn't cost you anything. Just to show you that I actually have finished the game on Unreal Engine. Yeah, I'll be free at some point tomorrow, yeah, just let me know. Right, I don't think we're going to be lucky with minerals here. Ah, you're in the UK. Yeah, obviously by my accent I'm from the UK as well, but I'm actually not in the UK. I'm 6 hours ahead of you, Jess. So I'm going to have to restart this because there's not enough minerals around about my little guys. I might have to start plonking down more minerals, to be honest. And look at that, there's not anywhere near again. Right? Now, for a minute, guys, right? If this is the first time you've seen this, you don't actually search for minerals like this. This is just the way I started it up, to do a bit of AI. To control these guys, where they just wander around basically and try and find stuff. They've got not really much intelligence other than go a certain distance, move to a certain place, then do the same thing again, and then when it perceives a mineral it basically lights it up, and then basically another dumb thing gets put down here and then goes straight to the mineral is just found and constructs a mine. Oh, thanks, Jess. Yeah, contact me tomorrow. I'll look forward to hearing from you, and we can see what we can do for you. Right, okay, so we're going to have to start this again. And if you're going off to your bed, night night. Right, so anyway. Right, we're in business here. We've got lots and lots of minerals over here. We've got a mineral here. All of them have been found. These are all going to crash into each other. It's all going to become a complete mess. But that's just the way it is sometimes. So we're going well. Good night, Jess. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Right. This is possibly... Now, can I spin a miner round? Now, I don't know if I can... I can spin a miner round. Of course I can spin a miner around. The only thing was that I'd never really thought about spinning the miner around. I'd actually only really thought about the other buildings. But because it does it on the base building blueprint, it works on everyone, which is awesome. Right, so we need some copper, and that's not copper, but we have two here. There's the copper, and as we mentioned earlier, we can actually spin this round. And while we're at it, we'll spin this one round as well. But we really want it to be, actually we're not really wanting to spin that one round. Right, so copper, oh, but we do want to know which one this is. That's bauxite, right, okay, that's cool. Right, so we need the conveyor belt. We can pop the conveyor belt over here. And what we'll do is we shall make it slightly bigger, because we really want to. Now we're going to have to do something with the grid here, so that the player can see where he needs to actually do it. Now the other idea was if he clicked in there, it would actually recalculate the last points in the spline, right? But that's obviously an issue for another day. But what we're going to do in the meantime, no worries Jess, I'll check it out later, see what he said, no big deal. Right, so what we'll do is we shall pull this down here. Oh, we're going to have to clear that, right? We're going to have to make, well, we're going to have to wait until actually, is this, I've got two coppers. I've got two coppers. I'm an idiot. I've got two coppers. Right, okay, so this is going to have to basically go, right, okay. Right, click on the right thing for goodness sake. Right, I've messed that up. Right, okay, whatever. We'll click on that. Making a mess of this. Yes. It is indeed boosted bleep. Let me see if I've got a message from you, okay? Let me check this out. Do I have... Did you send a friend request? Pending. Nothing pending. Back in here. Oh yeah. Right, I see you in the Discord, so you got the right Discord. Okay? Hiya. Right, so anyway. So we can build our smelter now, right? We need to find another miner, and it's quite handy because it's right here. And it's bauxite, which is okay, I suppose. So we can build a smelter, and we shall actually, yeah, we want it actually on this side. So what we'll do is put it on this side, right, and then this thing here, we're going to spin this round. right? And then, well, wait a minute. So that's making bauxite, right? So that's cool. We want that. So we're going to join this up to here. And then we're going to build a smelter. Okay. And it's going to be joined up to here. And then, yes, add me as a friend, Jess. So we select this, we've got our two, we want iron sheet as default, that's correct. So, that appears to all be working. Now what we can do, if we wanted, is we can actually drag our iron sheet into our warehouse. And we can then, we'll actually get back to the whole point of this. Crazy stuff. Right, so we have our iron sheets coming, well, iron sheets. They actually look like copper sheets, but that's because of the colour of the ground bouncing off, so it's a reflection. Right, now we have to wait on this rocket to land, right? And here is where we go, we do this, and we can bring up our buy and sell stuff, right? Now, this was the point. So we've got bauxite, copper rich ore, we've got 2 bauxites for some reason, and iron sheet, which is good, but we really do need to find out what's going on with this. And again, I think it's all because of the enum problem from earlier. And there we go. And on that note, I'm going to have a 5-minute break to have a cigarette. So guys, bear with me. Stay around, it won't be long. Won't be long at all. And we shall be right back. Okay guys, we are back and we're going to get a drink, or a sip of our drink anyway, not alcoholic by the way. And now we have this problem with the dropship, or at least the inventory in the dropship. So what we want to do, and this will be of interest to any newcomers. Okay, that's fine, I'll add you as a friend, Jess. If you're really new to this next 5 minutes might be of very much interest for you, right? Because we're going to do a bit of debugging, so a lot of beginners don't know how to do this. So when the dropship lands, we basically show the trading, or we allow the trading widget to be shown, okay? So in here, this is the trading main and the trading line. So the trading main is the thing that draws the widgets, right? So what we're going to do here is, what we have to do basically here is check this, what's coming out of here, and to see if we're getting two versions of bauxite, because that is the thing that's causing the problem. So what you do is you right click on the get data table names, because this is where we want to break, right? And we add a breakpoint, and we'll do the same for the for next loop. We'll add a breakpoint, okay? Now, what's going to happen here is we're going to test it with nothing in the inventory, okay? So basically, if I press the 5 button, which is going to show, this is my temporary show this window, or show this widget, we're going to get this, okay? And at the moment that's going to be nothing. I'm going to try and zoom in as much as I can there. Hopefully you can see that, guys. There is basically nothing in that, and that's because we've not passed by, so we haven't actually got a data table yet. So if we step over, you'll notice we're now here, and this should have names in it. Now you'll notice we have one bauxite at the very top, okay? We have one bauxite in the list, okay? So what we actually want to do now is we want to unbreak this, so we disable the breakpoint, and we disable the breakpoint again, and we do not expect this to come up. And press resume, and we have two bauxites. And that is bizarre. That is absolutely bizarre. Because you will notice it only adds a child to this vertical box each time. So in theory, I'm going to try something here, right? I'm going to try a little thing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create this again. So I'm going to say get data table rows, okay, and then we're going to do it. So you hold control, that puts you in there, and then we shall join that back up to there, and we shall actually join that to there. Now this isn't the end of my plan, this is the beginning of my plan. What we're now going to do is we're going to pull off this and get data table row, right? And we're going to say DT items, and that's going to be DT items. And then we're going to plug this in here. And this might be the problem. This is S items. So this is the wrong table. Yeah, for some reason this table has become corrupt. Right? That one it selects, no problem, but there's a copy of it for some reason, right? And now what do we get out of this? This S items thing. So that appears to be the wrong thing. And now it doesn't like to select this. I'm tempted at this point to do a restart. This just does not want to play ball. This is not playing ball at all. Good night, Jess. I look forward to speaking to you. Meanwhile, I'm losing my head at this one. Right, so this is really weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this as well. Right, we did replace this with the bottom one, right? Well, did we? Because it's not playing ball at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh that. I'm going to plug this back in here, back to the way it was. And we shall leave it at that. This S items is wrong. Right, okay, whatever. Right. So that's obviously the issue here. So what we're going to do is we've saved everything. We're now going to close it down, and then we're going to open it back up. So just be a moment. Loading up. This was all, as I said, this was all caused by an enum issue earlier today. An enum file became corrupted, and then it's just led from one problem onto another, basically. So we were in our trading main. And if we go back in here now, if we pull off this, it's got this break S items, which is completely bullshit. And there it's there, the break struck items, right? Now I'm just wondering now if this is going to work, because I think no, this has got a bit weird on me now. See how this is getting a bit weird? Right, so that seemed to take that in that time. This kind of doesn't like it. We've got a bit of an issue here. Now what I might need to do is have a look at DT items, which I'm going to guess is in recipes. We've got DT items here. Now fundamentally what we're going to have to do here is recreate this whole thing, and you'll notice that we have got two bauxites again. Everything's went out of whack basically here. Everything's went out of whack again. But so this is iron ore, and it shouldn't come from, see, these should be the same. So what's happened is these have all moved up one. And everything's become a bit screwy, which is a bit of a bummer. So I think what the best way to do this would be see, that's iron ore, and that's okay. It's just the name that's not okay. And the copper rich ore is okay. So in effect, what we'll do is, now that is the iron ore, right? And that is the bauxite. So the code was working properly. So we can go about this in another way. So this actually becomes iron ore. This becomes copper rich ore. This becomes iron sheet. This becomes copper sheet. This becomes gypsum. This has screwed up nearly every single data table I have. This becomes copper wire. This is steel. I'm so glad that I haven't set an awful lot of these up. Because this would be absolute torture. Not that this is the final one anyway, but even just trying to go through these and fix them up, it is a pain. So that's widget. That's plastic. And this one is a new thing. Okay. So now that we've got that set up, that looks a bit more like it. And I think we can just press play now. And there we go. We're back to our proper list. Thank goodness for that. Phew. Okay. So what we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to do something that's fun after having to fix this all day through no fault of our own. Is we're going to have a look at our trading widget. No, we're not going to have a look at our trading widget. That's not what we meant. We're going to have a look at our vehicles. And in actual fact, it should be here, rocket. Okay, so this is our rocket viewer, okay? And this is our widget, as you can see. Now, I think what we'll do is we'll call this expand. Alright. So here we have it expand, okay? And this is where I've got to try and remember what the heck I'm doing. So we're going to have a named widget. And it's going to be this, I believe. And then we're going to have a look at the transform. And it's not going to be the translation, okay? It's going to be the scale. So what we'll do is we can rename this, and it's probably going to be the opposite. So it's going to be contract, right? So let's say this is actually going to be at the end of a thing. So we're going to add that, and then we're going to click on it, and we're going to make it 0 and 0. Right, so you'll notice that it is going to be the translation. Actually, it's not. Okay. And it might not actually be this widget at all, it might be the image. Yeah. So I'll tell you what we'll do is we shall delete that. Now I haven't done this for a while, so I'm just playing around here. I'm just having some fun after today's torture, basically. So we're going to add a track, and it's going to be on, it's either going to be on image 99 or border slot, one of the two. Let's click on border slot anyway. And we've only got those. So it isn't going to be on the border slot. It's going to be on the image itself by the looks of things. So there's image 99. And we do have transform. We can have a render opacity. We could let's just try an easy one. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll mark this one, and then we shall move to here, and we shall mark that one. Then we shall say 0 and 0. So let's see what this actually does. Now that is quite an interesting effect there. It turns it black and then, right? Interesting one. And then basically for the other one, we can do expand. Right? So if we click that one, and we can add a track, and then it's image 99, and then we can add a track to the transform, right? And then what we can do is we can look at the scale, and we can type 0 and 0, and then we can mark it, right? And if we move it to here, then we can change these to 1 and 1, and then mark it. Then we can save that. And then the next thing we can do, finally, is basically when we open this, we can fire these. So we can go to the graph, okay. So it's actually the, okay, so we actually need the rocket here. So what we can do is We can play with this later, like. This is just a quick, let's see if we can get something going. Right, so this is the thing that does the so we clear the widget. So basically what we want to do is on clear widget, we want to get our widget and play animation. Oh. Okay, so we don't do it that way. So say expand. Oh, there's get expand. And it's actually contract. Contract. We can delete that. Go in animation. Playback speed of 1. Now, what I want to know is if this is finished or not. Otherwise, we need to do a delay. So what I'll do is we'll just put a delay in there. If we know that the animation is actually because what we can do is I'm pretty sure you can get the length. Maybe it's not called the length, but you can get a length of an animation. Actually, probably from here. So this is our animation, right? Now, get end time. That gives us our duration to delay. And we'll see if this works. As I said, we're just playing about at the moment. I'm not 100% on this yet, but we can certainly try it. And we'll see what effect that has. Right, so we can bring up our... Oh, we don't want to do that. We want to see our rocket. Alright, come on rocket. We're looking up in the top right hand corner, right? And when the rocket takes off again, it should do our okay, so it didn't. And we did put a delay in. That's a bit disappointing. Didn't do that. Let's check our animation again. Right, so if we check our contract, 5 seconds, and it goes to 0. So that should be fine. Right, so let's put a breakpoint in here. And it's not hitting there. Is there any other place that this is clear the widget? This one's removing the widget, right? So what we could do here is, instead of doing this, we can just say clear widget, right? Because it's obviously going in here. So we can basically just do this and go clear widget. And we can play that. So either way, it's going to clear this widget, or at least I hope so. So let's see how this goes. There's our rocket, and it's about to take off, and off it goes. And there we go. Awesome. Awesome. Right, okay, we're going to stop this, right? Bear with me. And what we're going to do here is we're going to duplicate this, right? And then we're going to get this, and we're going to get expand. Oh, that's timer by function name. Yeah, I'm putting that in the wrong place. Duh. So in this, it's actually here we need to do it. So we need to expand. We need to get the expand. Then we're going to have to do this after we add it to the viewport, because we want to obviously see it, right? So it's going to be play animation, except it's not going to be off this, it's going to be off this. So we're going to say play animation, and that looks a bit, yeah, we're going to play animation forward, right? We don't need that big huge one. We could have played the other one in reverse, to be quite honest, but let's keep it nice and straightforward for the sake of argument. So let's keep it easy and straightforward. So we can pull this down to tidy it up a bit, and then we can drag this up to there, and that keeps us all nice and happy. We can straighten the connection, and that'll do for now. Save that, and then we'll have a look to see how it looks. We'll go over and see our rocket. Okay, so let's be having you. Come on, rocket, you can do it. Well, that didn't quite work, did it? Bizarrely. Okay. Okie dokie. So the landing one is working as expected. But the other one isn't. So what we could actually do is actually play this other one in reverse. Play reverse. And then if we basically get contract, and we plug that in. If this doesn't show properly, then I've obviously done something that isn't quite right somewhere, I would suggest. The weird thing is that the contract's working fine when the rocket is actually landing. Now let's see if this works. Nope. I'm just thinking, is there somewhere else that it generates this? Yeah, of course there is. It's in here. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to, we'll just copy this basically. We'll duplicate it. Now we are going to have to move a couple of things here, like in particular this. And that, and we are going to delete that. Then we're going to bring this up a bit to save some space. Then we're going to drag this whole thing up here. And then we're going to pop that in there. And we're going to join this up. And that'll be that. So that should basically give us an expanded view, and then it should give us a contracted view, or it should expand to fill the box, and then it should contract to unfill the box and disappear. So let's see what it does. There we go. So it takes off and it disappears. And that is perfect. It's perfect, right, so it's perfect for the launch. And here it's coming into land. And when it lands, it's staying on. Right, so there obviously is a point here where this isn't getting fired. Now, in theory, we don't actually need this. Okay. Now, this is the is launching. So it's not the is launching issue. So we are doing that, and then this is the thing that's clearing the widget. Right. So what we need to actually do here is we probably need to unhitch some of these. Okay. And then take it from there. And on that note, guys, I'm going to fix this up. While I have a beer tonight, and then do a little bit of slow development. I'll be back probably tomorrow, 2 o'clock, which will be 8 o'clock UK time. And it's been the best for views. It's been a good stream for me. Not very many, but it's been the best in a while. So thank you for joining me if you did. If you want to support me in any way, like, you can check out the description. It's got my previous game. You can stick it on your wish list, doesn't cost anything. You can do the subscribe, there's Patreon, all that stuff. It's in the description. Don't feel pressure to do so. And I've enjoyed your company. So thank you very much and good night.